Hello everybody, and a very big warm welcome to you from Brisbane, where I am. I'm Megan Walker. I'm the Director of Market Savvy. Thanks so much for joining me tonight to talk about your crisis communication strategies. For those of you who don't know me, I am a health marketer and a health promoter. My strong point of difference, I like to believe, is that my strategies, as much as they are extremely APRA aligned, are all very much relationship based and ethical in their approach. My passion is working with allied health and connecting you with the people who you can serve, so you can reach more people and help more lives and for the greater good of our community. So I believe very passionately in the great work of allied health. And it's a pleasure for me to come in. I'm not a clinician. I wish I had that side of the brain, but I'm a marketer, I'm a connector, ethical promoter, and so I see this as an opportunity for me to help you. Some motivation, some ideas, some thinking outside the box for the next hour to be able to think on your business, about how you're going to get through this, this really, how do we even describe it? We're so overworded, aren't we, talking about this current crisis, but then also to be having an eye on the future for 4, 8, 12, however many weeks time from now, what you're going to look like when you're recovering your practice and getting things either back to a former normal or a new normal, because with this will come opportunities even if we can't see them yet. So I'm going to be, for those of you who know me, I've worked in health marketing for 26 years. I know this patch, I know marketing, communications and business development inside and out. So I'll share with you as much practical and useful information as I possibly can, and then we'll have a Q&A at the end. I'm also going to ask for your indulgence for you to let me tell you a couple of things. One, about another free webinar that I'm offering next, the night digital strategies, and I'll explain that at the end. I want to let you know about a program that I've got that actually starts tomorrow, but I'll only spend a few minutes talking about that before we do the live questions. And I actually have a favour. I'm going to present, a whole chunk of really useful, valuable information that I would normally present at a national conference or a masterclass. So you're going to get lots of value out of tonight. And then I'd actually like to ask you a couple of questions. Again, it'll only take a few minutes, about the sorts of marketing courses and programs that might interest you. And I want your real constructive feedback at that point. I, like you, am in small business. I am a company, I'm not an employee, so I don't actually qualify for any of the grants that have come out, and times are tough for all of us, myself included. So if you could indulge me towards the end of our session to give me a few ideas I've got, I'd be extremely grateful. But it's going to be 90% about you, so don't worry, no hard sales pitches, not my style, not in for all of that. So let's get underway. And in the now there's 2 chat boxes in Zoom. There's a Q&A and then there's a chat. If you could use the box marked Q&A so that we get all the search string in one go, and I'm on my own, so then I'm not diving in and out of 2 places. I won't be really looking at it the whole time that I'm presenting, but I certainly will want Q&A. I'll spend all of our time in there. So if you think of a burning question, type it in and we'll make sure it's covered. All right, so I'm going to turn my video off to help with the bandwidth and to get that grey box off the screen. Just bear with me just a jiff. All right, we'll get underway. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Right, so in this webinar, I will show you how to consider your patients or clients, now please use that language interchangeably, their current needs, and put in place a plan to maintain quality communication, add value, and retain your patients' loyalty both now and in the months ahead. Communication now is different to how you would normally be communicating with people. Your communication is going to be more frequent. It's going to be more of a helpful nature. It's going to be more immediate. But again, like I've just done with you, it needs to be 80 or 90% about the person and the recipient of the message, and then 10 or 20% about you, because it's always, serve the reader, serve the patient, serve the client. I want to double check that I've turned that video off, sorry. Just bear with me. I thought you probably still had a, yes, sorry, the recording is coming out tomorrow, I should have said. Fantastic, okay. Definitely recording for everyone tomorrow. Okay, sorry, just bear with me there. I was just checking that we didn't have any technical problems. Okay, so you like my little comment. You didn't come this far to only come this far. Communication is critical in a crisis, which is what we're in, not to be dramatic with that language, but how you engage and display leadership during this time will set you apart. And I really encourage you, don't give up. There is light at the end of the tunnel. We'll start to come out of this in a couple of months' time and move into recovery, which is a much more positive position. Pardon me. Hope my voice doesn't give out. I've been on the phone all day. Now, as I've said, at the end, I'm going to tell you about a next free webinar, the live Q&A where you can ask me anything you like, and I'll just quickly run past those couple of questions in that new program. I'd love you to turn off all distractions if you could, so you can stay focused, so that you walk away feeling like your time was well spent. If you could turn off your phone or shut down the windows on your computer, close your door, etc., so you get the most out of the session, that would be great. Now, those of you who've done webinars with me before know that I do a little check-in just to see how you're going and test the atmosphere. So this is my sense of what you're feeling at the moment. You feel worried about patients cancelling. You might also be worried about patients not returning to your practice. And I've heard this one lately, you're a bit worried that if you do communicate with people, they might be reminded to ring up and cancel their appointment if they haven't already. You might be worried and unsure about what to say to people at this point in time, which is completely, perfectly normal. And you might also be worried that you're bothering your patients right now if you're doing extra communication with them. Can you use that Q&A box that I mentioned earlier and type in yes if these statements resonate with you and if they describe how you're feeling, and if there's anything else that I haven't captured there. Just quickly dive in. Oh yes, worried about job security. Yes, yes, lots of yeses there. Definitely what I'm hearing when I talk to people all day, every day. Everyone's feeling the same way. Oh, Virginia, you've got a different experience. The bothering mainly is a worry. Yes, I understand, Deborah, completely. Great. Worrying about bothering them. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Belinda, how are you? Worried about feeling disconnected from clients, cancellations starting to show. And also how they'll deal with the changes that are needed. Still in quarantine. Happy diary booked when I get out. Okay, Carol. How to pay rent and staff. Acting too quickly and getting it wrong. Yes, okay, Bianca, good point. Worried about extra communication may experience as a sell. How to encourage clients to move from face-to-face to telehealth. How to create income when they're not used to doing this remotely. Although new patients are booking in, that's great, fantastic. Worried about losing people. Also, how can we work if school doesn't go back? I know, I wish they would get some kind of date on that. Worried about clients not having confidence. Staying viable on reduced incomes. Worried about my capacity when I'm stressed. How to seem professional via online. Oh, there's so many. Yes, okay. Well, we're certainly all feeling so many of the same things, aren't we? And definitely all in the same boat. Nothing that any one of us has caused or done or could have predicted in any way, shape or form. So, well, we're all in the right place and we're on the same page. So let's go through some strategies and some ideas for you to take away from tonight. So the first, I suppose, area of strategy that I want to talk to you about okay, sorry, I just wanted to double check, make sure that there was no other extra things there. Slide. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but since working from home, the bandwidth has been quite challenging in addition to everything else. So this is the first area I want you to think about. I've called this communication essentials. What's your current status? Are you open? Are you well? And what are you doing? And please feel free to make a couple of notes in the worksheet on these topics, because as I'm asking you questions, I want you to make notes. This is going to form the basis of some of the topics that you're going to communicate with your patients and clients. Sorry, excuse me. Now, on this particular point, if you say nothing at this point in time to people, they won't actually know if your practice is still open. They won't know if you yourself are unwell or you're at work, and they won't know what you're doing in response to the crisis. So actually saying nothing is not a good idea. I hope that out of this I can encourage you and show you some, nice gentle ways to communicate with people that suit your style. If they haven't heard from you for a period of time, then they will either cancel or they won't make a booking. And then when this passes, they will potentially find another solution down the track. So to protect your business and stay in touch with people and maintain relationships, it's really critical that you communicate. So another couple of questions for you to make some notes about. Have a think about, what are your patients' concerns? Are they worried about having enough supplies at home? Are they worried, like all we are, about losing our homes, paying for school fees? When are the kids going to go back? Are they elderly? Are they worried about getting sick or passing away? All these concerns. If they have an accident at home, who's going to care for them? Are the hospitals overrun? There's so many worries, but what do you think are going through the minds of your clients and patients? And then with the next kind of thread in mind, I want you to think about what they need, and not just the basics of kitchen staples, and that they need to stay home and they need to stay safe, etc., and they need to have their medications and all of those sorts of things. But do they also need humor? Do they need something to do? Do they need the right information? Do they need tips? Do they need board members? Do they need strategies? Do they need someone to talk to? So hopefully you've got some ideas are jogging there. Those ideas, sorry again, excuse the voice. I've got to give up talk. Impossible. I'm a walker and a talker. So if you can spend a bit of time really fleshing that list out, the what do they need right now, that's going to identify opportunities for communication that aren't just related to your discipline. Now, this will make sense in a moment. Another question I've got for you is, what changes have you made? Have you decided to close for a while? Have you moved your services to telehealth or video conference? Are you doing webinars? Have you put together some fact sheets? Are you, in the office or in the clinic one day a week? What changes have you made? And how are you making it safe for patients to still engage with you if they can? Again, this is all opportunity identification. And you will get the recording of this tomorrow. So if we whiz through this a little bit too quickly, please feel free to go back over it, because this is where you'll get the crux of the what. What am I going to say? And then this one's always a great one for you to sit back and have a think about. What do you wish patients knew about you, about your practice, about your discipline, about the current situation, about how to stay fit, healthy, well, engaged, so forth, so forth. What do you wish they knew that they may not know? So hopefully out of that particular set of slides, you've got some ideas now forming for what you might say when you get in touch with people. And next, we're going to talk about communication methods, how you're going to reach people. All right, so something that we haven't considered for a while is the good old telephone. And the irony of this is that, you know, in busy times, we think, oh gosh, I won't ring people. Oh, they might tell me to go away. They might think I'm bothering them. The phone is now the novelty because we are all at home, most of us. We're all isolating to a large degree, if not completely. And we are looking for human contact and human interaction. So actually having someone ring you and talk to you for 5 minutes and ask you how you're going is a great way to break up the day, and it will actually stick in the memory bank. So you're not doing it to sell anything. You're not doing it to be opportunistic. All of these suggestions must come from a genuine place of service and serving. But you've got a great opportunity now to pick up the phone. It's extremely low cost, if not free, and reach people one-on-one. Now, when I say your A patients or clients, I don't mean that in an elitist way. I sort of tend to categorize customer databases or patient databases as A's, B's, C's, and D's. So an A for you might mean something completely different to the person down the street. Your A might be someone who has seen you every week for the last 10 years. Your A might be someone who always pays on time, or who's always early, or who takes the exercises you give them and actually does them, or who's polite and respectful. And, you know, your A, I'm doing air quotes and you can't see me, is going to be your own definition, because you can't ring everybody on your database. You might have 5, you might have 20, you might have 80. Again, so people are at home, they aren't doing much, and they'll appreciate and remember kindly that you rang them. Preface the phone call with, hello, it's Megan Walker. I'm just ringing up for a 5-minute chat, so they know not to launch into a great big thing, to see how you're going and let you know, start that conversation off about, what are you doing to keep busy, etc. And then at the end, you can have your 10 or 20% about, well, here's what we're doing. Now, in that conversation, you might book people in for a month's time. You might offer to ring them again in a fortnight or 3 weeks, or you might let them know about telehealth or video conference and so forth. So what I want you to do with phoning people is actually, I'll get into frequency soon, but just to kind of wrap up that thought, as many people as you possibly can over the next week or so, starting as soon as you can, ring as many of those people and have that conversation and let them know what you're doing. And then you want to repeat that in about 3 weeks' time. So with email, you'll be shocked with this one. It's completely appropriate for you to be emailing your whole database every week or 2 at the absolute most. Let them know what the status your practice is in. If you're closed temporarily, or you're only seeing 1 patient per hour, or you're seeing people at home, etc. But give them some value in every email. And this is what gives you the permission to up the frequency. Again, if it's 80% about the other person and 20% about you, it'll be welcomed. You want to talk about tips and ideas and topics of interest, which I'll get into in a much longer list very soon. But also keep reminding them about your added health and safety measures. It's really important. Now, your website and your social media, you want to share the same information that you're sending out on email onto your blog section of your website. You might have a whole segment that you call Helping You at Home, patient updates or client updates, COVID-19 updates. And don't forget Google My Business, because you can put links to those updates that you put on your website onto Google My Business as well, which will help with your search engine rankings. Now, very importantly, don't forget your referrals. You've worked really hard to build up your reputation and people know you. Again, don't let them go cold, because they'll wonder what's happened to you. If you know them really well, to a coffee or you have them over for dinner type thing, you could ring them weekly, those referral sources. And, some people have that level of relationship with their referrers. If it's not that cozy for you, and completely fine, then fortnightly, and then give it a couple of weeks and maybe touch base again. Do that with your really super kind of close ones, is the phone call, but then be emailing the rest. During that time, if you are making that extra effort to do those phone calls, pardon me, and ask them how they're going, what they need, offer to provide them with support, think of resources and tips that will help them. If you do that through this time, they're going to think really highly of you, and it'll bring them closer to you. So we are thinking about damage control and returning to a new normal. We just don't want to have to rebuild your business from scratch in 3 months' time and start like you did when you were a startup. All right, so now we're going to move into the next section of what to say. And this is a great opportunity, again, like I said, to think outside of your discipline. Reassurance is great. Tips, useful, calm advice. A voice of positivity is really useful right now. You might be hearing it with me. How I am behind the scenes is very different to the brave face that we're putting on. People want that sense of calm and that helpful leadership position. You could send people resources, fact sheets, books, documentaries. If you've got a practice manager who refers you a whole heap of work that she's into a genre, you might drop them a quick email and say, hey, I just watched this. What am I watching at the moment? The Walker lady with the hair oil. You might have other people who are interested in that. Send them a quick link and say, check this out on Netflix. Little things like that, just to break up the difference, but stay in touch. Again, keep reminding people what you're doing to keep people safe and your modified service offerings. And that can be really nicely done as a PS in the email. By the way, here's what we're doing. Here's the actions that we've taken to keep our people safe. There's that 10% again at the end that's about you. You might find for some of your vulnerable people or particular, worrying type people, anxiety, that the facts about the low infection rates may or may not be helpful, or maybe they just want diversion. Again, not diminishing the severity of what's going on, but giving them a break from the hype and the worrying messages that a lot of our news channels are feeding, because that's what sells advertising. No cynical apology there. Facts about how to keep your patients and clients safe, how to keep their friends and family safe as well. Although we are starting to sort of move out of some of that style of messaging. We've had the hand washing done to death. We've had the social distancing. Now it really is about diversion and occupying time. I think it's really helpful if you can point people to useful factual sites where they can get good information, and tell them sites to avoid, like the Daily Mail. That's a real anxiety pit, that one, and a very triggering site, if I'm allowed to say that outside my patch. That the headlines are very hypey, the images are very hypey, and you can really bring yourself unstuck if you're looking at just there being sensationalist. Stress management tips are always great if that's relevant to your discipline. People love that kind of information. Activities to do at home and exercises to do at home. This afternoon, I saw on Facebook today, someone put 2 sneakers either side of a kid's bike with training wheels on them, and they put the training wheels in the sneakers. And so that I did this with my daughter. So she's pedaling away and getting some exercise, but not going anywhere. Things like that you can share with people that are hilarious, but really practical, are gold. I've had that one shared with so many people. Other tips, how to avoid vices at home. I'll leave that one to you. And ways to stay connected with community. Shopping tips if you're in a local area, particularly regional. We've had people in my area sharing tips on who's delivering fruit and veggies, and that they'll drop it at your door and ring the doorbell and then leave. What to buy, recipes with pantry staples, tuna bakes, all these things that can be made with tin goods. I'm just pouring out lots of ideas. Not all of these are going to be relevant to you. You just pick out the nugget that is relevant for you, of course. I'm not saying do all of these. Activities and resources for children's a great one, especially if you're an OT or a speech therapist. You could be giving tips for your referral sources, if they're working from home and they're looking for things to do with their kids, you could actually support your referral sources in that way. Again, strategies from working from home, you know, physios, chiros, you've got some stretches that people could be doing, how to set up their ergonomics, so forth, so forth. How to keep kids calm but informed, what to say, you know, and what not to say. It's really useful. And hotlines and support lines, other resources that can really help people. And again, the safety measures that you are taking. So your new augmented services and the benefits that they create. You know, often when we're coming up with a new service, we're so busy thinking about how it's going to work that's then what we communicate with our patients and clients. We say, now this is telehealth, you'll pick up the phone, I'll ring you, da, 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 da. This is, you'll go into a waiting room, you'll hear this music, boom. We forget to actually tell people the benefits. I'm sure you've heard it's don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle. Oh God, I can't believe I repeated that. So the sizzle for telehealth, of course, is you can be home, that you're safe, you're not into the community, it's in the privacy of your own home. We can still talk and maintain our relationship and so forth, so forth. So just remember to always talk to people about the benefits of the change that's created, you know, and the new offering. Next, I'm going to talk about frequency. Example, I take my daughter to a pediatric physiotherapist and I haven't heard from them for 4 weeks. And I have no idea if they were still taking classes. We'd put things on hold for other reasons. And I think they might be closed, but I haven't heard anything from them for 4 weeks. We've been going there for 2 years. We know all the staff by name. They know us really well. No one's rung us and told us what's happening. We haven't received an email. So in my mind, they have closed. And I've gone online and I've cancelled all of our future bookings. And then I find out today that they are open and we can go and see them one-on-one. And there's a half-hour gap between appointments and so forth, so forth. But I had to find that out from a third party. That's not really what should happen, is it? And a psychologist client of mine, they've been really good with communicating their safety measures. When I rang to, you know, to find out how they're going, they're saying, you know, look, we've got people waiting in their car before their appointment. We ring them, they come in. Again, we've got them, you know, we've got gloves on, we've got masks, etc. And then I know now that this week they've moved to telehealth and video conference. But they were letting people know, ringing them up and saying, you'll be moved straight into the room. We won't even let you touch the FBOS machine at the end. We'll just invoice you and do the paperwork remotely so that you can just leave and everything's been wiped down, etc., etc. So these messages really helped allay people's concerns and painted the picture in their mind that they would be safe. So it's always better to communicate than not. All right. Next, we're going to talk about frequency. So with the initial phone calls that I talked about, that's now. That's every day, ringing your most prevalent, regular, long-term, however you kind of call your A-type, categorize your A-type patients or clients, ring all of them over the next week. Then email all of your patients and clients every week for the next 4 to 6 weeks. If weekly is too much for you, you don't have that level of comfort and confidence in that frequency, then go to fortnightly. Weekly or fortnightly again with your referral sources. Weekly for your update to your website, definitely. That one's a weekly, definite. And daily posting at minimum 4 times a week on social media. Again, I know that you might be looking at that going, wow, that's a lot. But this level of communication is your insurance policy to have a practice to return to. And putting this in place now will mean you can rebuild so much more quickly. So stay in touch with people, add value, show leadership, and give hope. You know, offer to help your patients in new ways, allay their fears and concerns about privacy of data, etc. as well if you're using new technology. You know, the Sydney Morning Herald just had some information about Zoom, how people can tap into people's Zoom conversations. So you might want to just sort of check what platform you're using. Security apparently is not an issue with Zoom, although that give some question marks, but privacy of the data is because it's not stored in Australia. So maybe something like CoView is a better option, or something attached to your practice management software. I know Core Plus has got their telehealth that's coming out tomorrow. Those sorts of platforms where the data is stored in Australia might be a better option for you, especially if you're going to continue video conferencing and telehealth after the COVID-19 situation. And one of the really big tips I want you to take away from tonight is, if you are discounting your services, and there's plenty of reason why you would be doing that, and most likely you will want to and need to return to your previous private billing model. Remember that it's very easy to bring a price down, but it's very hard to take a price back up. So what I am suggesting to people at the moment is create a new name for that service, or put a time limit around it, or have it attached to the funding, say to the end of September for telehealth, or some way to put it in a box so that you can make a decision about whether you will continue that, or augment it, bundle it up, or get rid of it when this passes. Otherwise, if it's just now your new normal, it's going to take you possibly 12 months, 18 months to restore your former pricing model. So just keep that in mind. Discounting has a perception attached to it as well, that you may or may not be willing to have your brand associated with for the long term. There's still got to be value attached to what you deliver, and you need to maintain that. Now, almost getting to our, probably about 10 minutes away from questions. So all good. If anyone's got questions, please by all means type them in and I will get to them very soon. So as the pandemic passes, your weekly emails will move to more voice of hope and opportunity. You've got that permission. If you have stayed in touch with people through this time, then you can start letting them know that, hey, the social isolation is being wound back, or whatever messages we get, and now this is available to them. Appointments are now available. I've got their return to the clinic for a free welcome back gift or a welcome back service. It doesn't have to be a gift. It might just be a celebration. You might just be saying to people, we are having, we're hugging for the, I don't know if that's appropriate for your particular practice. Some it would absolutely not, but something that's a point of difference in a comeback type week. Everyone gets an apple, everyone gets a pat on the back, everyone gets a high five, whatever it is. Create some excitement with the return to usual service, because some people will feel bad that they haven't seen you, and you want to let them know that it's okay, and to get them back into the habit of rebooking and making you a returned habit back into their lifestyle, because they will have got out of the habit of seeing you. So you want to thank people for standing by you as well. You might have a coffee shop next door that you do a joint arrangement with, and everyone who comes back to you gets a coffee next door or something like that. Everyone gets a banana, and you're going to go crazy for a week. It's up to you. You choose what's going to be relevant to your situation. Might be baked goods, home baked muffins. Make it a big celebration, of course, low cost. So now your turn. Tell me in the chat box, from all of that information, tell me what actions will you take? I'd love to hear what you've picked up so far that you're going to put into place. Let's have a look in our chat. So we're in the Q&A, remember. Okay, Wendy, that's great. You're doing news every fortnight. Oh, wow. Sally, that's really full on. Okay. So I'm just getting up to the point where you're telling me what you're doing. Yes, Sarah, I hear what you're saying about CoView. And I think there would be a lot of forgiveness at the moment if you did use Zoom or Skype in between getting to one of those more purpose-built platforms. I think that would be completely acceptable. I saw on the MBS guidelines yesterday, I was looking at the new funding that came out, and they even had Zoom or Skype, but they did sort of have a caveat around the privacy. So it's everyone's decision. It's a completely personal decision. But if it was me and I was running a practice, I would look at something like CoView that was purpose built for the long term and maybe stop gapping with a Zoom or Skype in between. Again, entirely up to you. Yes, Etta, if you start the conversation by saying it's a 5-minute, Etta just asked about how the client knows it's not a free consultation and launches into their health update. That's why we say at the start, it's a 5-minute call. I just want to ask you how you're going. And then, once they say that, you share then with what's happening with you and, kind of quickly add in there that we've got paid telehealth or we've got paid video conferencing or there's a bulk build service, quickly kind of come in there with the service, but starting by saying it's just a 5-minute call to ask you how you are going and, a quick chat, make sure that it's, and then wrap it up and say, look, I must go. We're, really busy ringing everybody at the moment, so I'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. I think you've just got to put some boundaries around those calls. Okay, so this is the ideas. All right, Wendy's got something about toilet paper there. Okay, Belinda, new items with a new fee structure. Contacting your referrers ASAP. Great, Kate, that's terrific. Continuing to make calling clients a priority. Belinda, weekly emails, excellent. Client communication this week will need to be a letter, as many clients don't have internet. Of course, Alison, yes. We had some great suggestions in a different forum yesterday about sending people, thinking of you cards in the mail. If you've got some people that are really dear to you that you've been with for a long, long period of time, that would be appropriate, and using mail that way. Bernadette's going to contact her referral sources. Yes, great, so that we don't have to go through all that work to rebuild them in 2 or 3 months' time. It's also, I don't do these things to sound opportunistic, but if you're ringing those referral sources or you're emailing them, you're adding value, you're going to stand out. They're going to remember that, and that's great for business down the track, as well as being the right thing to do. More check-ins and blog updates, great. More effort into blogging and emails. Call people, email referrers to communicate openly. Great, Rachel. Maintain communication with referrers. Ring people. Hello, Rob, how are you? Good on you. More communication with clients and referrers. Regular communication. Importance of yes. We've not said much to date, so it'll be tomorrow. Kelly, I completely understand that. It all hit us with such a shock, all of this in the last 3 weeks. People are understandably reeling and going, I don't even know what to say, and I'm terrified if I say something it's going to make it worse and so forth. But treat this as full permission to go out to your audiences and communicate with them. Deborah's going to do a communication strategy. Reem's going to be posting things in Facebook. Finalize fixing up the website so it's new and fresh. Great. There's that silver lining of this is the time to work on the business that we never get. More phone calls, writing up the next emails, reaching out to people. Email tomorrow, start calling patients, making sure that we care. Great, Wendy. Set up follow-up emails to database. Yes, great, fantastic. Calls or great. Safety of the telehealth. I think that's really important, Kimberly. We don't always think, well, we never know what's in people's heads, do we? But if they're sort of thinking, well, how is this working? Where's my data going? Who else can hear me at the other end? I saw a great psychology email today from another client, and they said, just to put your mind at ease, we will be in a closed room with the door shut. Your consultation is 100% private, and it will be exactly the same as if you were with us in the practice. Little statements like that go a long way to help people maintain that therapeutic alliance with you. Letting people know I'm open, face-to-face with hygiene and spatial distancing as well as telehealth. Great, Melissa. And, I think you have to do those extra couple of steps and even let people know you're very welcome to use a mask if you'd like, and we'll make that available. And we'll all be washing our hands and, making those extra statements around a couple of extra steps, because we're not dealing with people kind of practically, that we've got, some anxieties there around cleanliness and hygiene. We really have to communicate. Create lists of clients, ABC groups, contact them methodically. Great, Virginia. Video to post to social media. Yes, love video. Good one, Michelle. Let clients know we're open. Safety measures, telephone. Fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. Great tip there. You can use the free, folks, you can use the free platform in Zoom to record little videos. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the one that I sent out this morning. I just went into Zoom, set myself up a meeting to have with myself. Sorry, I don't know why that was funny. And I hit record and just talk to it. And the good thing about that is you can do it 2 or 3 times if you feel like you've mucked it up. And then Zoom will give you a link to that recording, and you just cut and paste that link into the email and say, here's a quick video of what we're doing. And you might have a few of you waving and saying hello as a really nice way for people to see faces and get a personal touch. That's always really powerful as well. And you can put that video on your Facebook as well and on your website. So thanks, Michelle. I really appreciate you mentioning that. Bianca, communicate more, became overwhelmed and withdrawn. Yes, same. I understand completely. Want to reach out, but worried I can't provide what I want to with limitations I currently have. Just doing the best we can. Bianca, that's all we can do, isn't it? Lydia, find ways to stay with clients when they do ask to take a break. Finding ways to stay with clients when they do ask to take a break. Home programs, touching base with relevant activity ideas. And that's where we do get into what's a cut down version of our service, or is there a 15-minute, or is there, during this time, we know that you can't come in, so we're going to top you up with this instead. Again, a bit of creativity just to get through the next month or 2. So we don't lose our beautiful clients and we keep supporting and helping them. I love the idea of returning with the celebration. Yes, I know, Liz, we need something to look forward to, don't we? We don't know dates yet. Oh, coffee and cake. Yeah, and, we're almost going to have to program people to go out in public because we've had so much fear. We'll be like, the giraffe taking its first steps. We've got to really coach people through coming back out into community. And a celebration is a great way to ease that in. As most of you would know, that sort of psychology far better than me. If I don't record, good question, Bronwyn. Can I get back to you on that? Or does anyone else know the answer to that? If you use Zoom or Skype and you don't record the session, are there still those privacy issues? That would be great if anyone could answer that, or I can find that out as well. Bronwyn, I'll make a note. Bronwyn, privacy, not recording. Jason, hello, how are you? Oh, great, thanks, Jason. How can manual-based practitioners transition to digital services? The $1 million question. There's going to be some things, of course, that you aren't able to do, but are there webinars that you could offer? Stretch training, posture. Sorry, Jason, forgive me. I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people. Are you chiropractor or physio? Just give me a quick note to remind me which discipline you are. It might just be that there's, the reality is the cut down service, or some people are actually closed for a period of time who are purely manual. But is there a mini course that you could offer? Definitely ringing people. Teleconsultations. I know with physio has got some bulk billing that came out yesterday, I believe. I'll just keep going and then I'll just check which discipline you are and come back to you. FaceTime for privacy. Another great question, Melissa. I don't know. FaceTime for privacy. You would think it's good, but let's find out. I need to come back to you guys. You've raised some great questions. FaceTime privacy. Again, does anyone know that already? If not, I'll do some digging tomorrow. Okay, Bernadette's raised a really good point there. Not feeling comfortable contacting past clients who've finished therapy any further than about October last year. Psychologist, do you have any thoughts on that? Great question, Bernadette. again, they wouldn't be what I would kind of categorize for you as an A client. You know, an A is going to be someone you've seen over the last 2 or 3, 4 months, and that definitely gets that more regular level of communication. I think still reaching out and letting people know, though, that you're available, and if you're doing the telehealth bulk billing, and if they're feeling, you know, for your whole database, if anyone would like to have a consultation with you and touch base, even if they haven't seen you for a while, I think is a great opportunity to reach out to the entire database and get in touch with them, because we're in a different world now. And even if they've done it, you did a beautiful job with them and they've moved on, they might just need a touch point and a top up. I know I'm doing that. I'm getting some stress management through a psychologist that I do some work with. I think you know, we all need those resources and support that lovely people like yourself offer. So put it out there and you know, let people know that the door's open. Doesn't all telehealth have to be bulk billed? Now, up until recently, Liz, you're going to get me a bit out of my depth there. I'm a good marketer, but I'm not so good with the MBS. So please, anyone correct me if I get this wrong. I know that the MBS guidelines are pretty specific around bulk billing: psychology, OT, and GP, pregnancy, some psychology that's just come out and was even just updated as of yesterday. If you have a look at the homepage of the MBS website, I thought that you could still private bill telehealth. I don't know about those particular item numbers that have come out. I'm going to stick to my patch, Liz, if that's okay. I don't know, to be honest. I can get back to you though. Benita's going to increase communication about still being open. Well and truly, been on leave, quite overwhelmed. I would just suggest you start ringing people and touch base with them, and just set yourself a small goal. It might be 5 phone calls tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, and just start checking in with people and touching base. And then next week it might be the email that gets started and a few posts on Facebook, and just warm up to it as you have your own capacity to do it. In any of these things, it's very easy for me to sit here in my helicopter and tell you what a perfect world looks like. The reality on the ground is always very different. So you need to take these suggestions that I'm giving you, pull out the 1, 2 or 3 things that you can manage, and just do your best. And that's fantastic if you can do that. Now, Bronwyn's offering to do telehealth checking in with patient individually, read their preference. That's a great idea. Give people choice and control. Large fee reduction for first telehealth to say thank you for taking the leap, and smaller reduced rate for 3 months on telehealth. Okay, fantastic approach. Margot's going to start a Facebook page, getting around to all those things we've been wanting to do. Janice is going to be more proactive. Great. Organise a script so she doesn't forget what to say. Margot, oh, at last, okay. Yes, I figured that's what you meant. Don't forget to put email addresses in the blind copy box. Very good, Belinda. If you're using Outlook or Gmail or that type of email system, and just check if you are using, say, Outlook to send a bulk email out to people, jump on Google and say, you know, for whichever platform you're using, how many people can I email at once using Outlook? There is a limit for all the different platforms before it's recognized as spam. So you might find that Outlook has got, say, 20 people that you can put in the BCC field, and that means so that no one else can see their email address, which is a fantastic suggestion. Just check what that limit is, and you might have to just sort of break them up into groups of, say, 20 or 50 at a time that you put into that BCC field, and hit send on that email so that they don't end up in other people's spam filters. That's and HubSpot and those sorts of things exist so that they get around a lot of those spam captures. Okay, posted. Oh, wow, Sarah. Hello, Sarah. You posted a coronavirus care pack to my A clients. In the pack, there was a letter, a mask, a hand wash, a Tangle toy. Oh, 5 stars. That's beautiful. Well done. Just for a bit of distraction thinking. That's fantastic. And what sort of feedback have you had from people? I bet they've been emailing you and contacting you to say thanks. Check with your, great suggestion there, Rachel. Check with your insurance that you're going to be covered for telehealth. Jason, you're a chiro. That's right. Thank you very much. So what can you do on telehealth? Stretches, small exercise programs, self-care at home. Oh dear, it's a real challenging time for our podiatrists, chiros, physios, manual practitioners. It's a stay in touch time. It's a do what you can and look for alternative ways to find income and keep yourself going. And hopefully that it's a short period of time. Feel free to drop me a note, Jason, again with what your plans are. That would be either separately on email or in this forum. That's fine. All right, folks, I'm just going to come back to the rest of those fantastic conversations there at the end in our Q&A. One more question for you before I jump out of the chat box, though, is have you found this session valuable so far? Give me a quick Y or an N. Hopefully there's more Ys than Ns, but if you're feeling N, then put N in. It's all good feedback. Oh, good. Excellent. Yes, yes, yes. Great. Oh, great, Sarah. They're going to receive their care pack tomorrow. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love what you've done there. That's sensational. Well done. Yes, valuable. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Oh, good, good, good. Glad I've got you all still there. Oh, thanks, Belinda. I'm glad. Great, great, great. Thanks, folks. Good, 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 good. Oh, yes, as always. Thanks, Rob. Beacon of hope there. All right, so as I mentioned at the start, I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to let you know very quickly about a program I've put together and then ask those couple of questions if you wouldn't mind telling me your thoughts on a couple of ideas that I've got, and then we'll get into our really big Q&A. So, and like I said, it will be more about you than it will be about me, I assure you. Now, and next free webinar, I'll repeat the link in a moment as well. Next Thursday, the 9th of April, I'm going to be talking about digital marketing strategies for allied health. What I'm going to be covering in that one is your APRA considerations. So just get my head thinking, what am I covering in that? I did have a long list. Oh, sorry, bit of brain fatigue. How it's much more important than, when you're developing these new services like telehealth and video conferencing, if you're wanting to keep those services for the long term, which my sense is that we're going to find people like some of our new services and they're going to want you to keep delivering them. Once that becomes your new normal, how are you going to attract more people? And the thing I love about video conferencing and telehealth is that you can claim your patch and deliver that service to people in a niche nationally. They don't have to be in a radius anymore. There's a real opportunity for growth and service. So what I want to point out to you next Thursday is how to start thinking about promoting those services to a bigger audience than just your geographic area, and your considerations, how, yes, you don't just put those services on your website and hope for the best. You actually need to launch them, and there's a process I'll explain of how you launch a digital service. So that's next Thursday, and tomorrow when I send you the recording for tonight, it's like today tonight, I'll include a link to that as well, so you don't have to go scrambling and looking for the sign up. But yes, come along to that if you're thinking that you'd like some ethical strategies on how to market your business online, then that's the session for you. So tomorrow, this is my little indulgence, so I'll be just a couple of minutes. You can tell I'm not very good at selling, am I? So we're starting this tomorrow, Psychology Redesigned. We've got 5 allied health industry experts delivering a step-by-step program to help move psychologists primarily, but it is going to be relevant to 98% of allied health to help you move to digital health delivery. It's a 3-week intensive program. It's I'm skipping through a little bit of this quite quickly. It's, you know, transforming your practice to digital health. And I'll just walk through these topics because I want to ask you soon if a modified version of this for general allied health disciplines would appeal to you. So these sessions are all live. There's an hour tomorrow that's on funding opportunities. The next day is on your new service model. The day after that's cash flow considerations with our health accountant and my fabulous husband. So that's week 1. So we cover the funding, the new service model, and cash flow considerations. Each one of those sessions is delivered live with a Q&A, and you get the expert live with you. Then week 2 is digital health service delivery with Yanni from Core Plus, not pitching Core Plus primarily. Yanni is on the Digital Health Agency Advisory Committee, so he's talking about how to make that transition and all the things you need to consider. We've got Chris, our health lawyer from Health Law Solutions, talking about legals, and then the cost-effective path to market, which is the low-cost marketing. And then in week 3, we have a panel of all of us together. So that's, you know, one of those experts alone would be thousands of dollars, but I'm doing it for $797 for AAPI members and $979. They have been really good working with me to promote the program, hence why their members get a discount. So zooming through this, there's a guarantee if people sign up and it's not right for them, I'll give them their money back within a day. And so the price for it is $498 in 2 payments. Zoom, zoom, zoom. So $997 is the full fee and $797 is the discounted rate. Now I'll stop there. I won't go into any further detail because I appreciate that that's not relevant to everyone who is here. But what I wanted to get to fairly quickly is some questions if you could help me. And by the way, if anyone is interested on doing that program, I can sign you up tonight or up until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then we literally get started tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Those 7 lessons will all be recorded. They'll be stored here in your own learning management system. You get 12 months access and up to 3 people per practice can do that program. And it is everything you need to quickly transform you. The idea why we started with psychologists is I can see, as you would as well, that this is going to be not just a virus crisis and a financial crisis, but very soon, if not already, a mental health crisis. So we wanted to mobilise as many psychologists into telehealth as possible to get that moving quickly. And then, of course, our other very vital disciplines to be running along super soon after. So enough about that and the program. Thank you for letting me explain that for any psychologists who are interested. But I'm in development mode, like you, staying afloat and doing what we can to keep our doors open, of course. The Brisbane floods didn't get me, and the GFC didn't get me, and swine flu didn't get me before that. And so, you know, I'm here to stay, but I do need to pivot like you. And so would you help me with some market feedback for 2 minutes, and then we'll go to our Q&A. I've got 5 questions there. The Allied Health redesign, which is a general version of what I just told you about for psychologists, would you buy that in that 7-lesson format that's live lessons for $797? That includes GST. So you'd put item 1, yes or no, in the chat box, and any other comments you've got around that would be hugely appreciated. You know, would really help me to know if you've already worked all that stuff out or you don't need a hand with that, because I don't want to focus on giving my help to people where they've already got it sorted. The other program that I'm actually still building is number 2, the Digital Health Marketing Academy, that basically teaches you advanced Facebook advertising, Instagram, Google My Business, Google Ads, everything you need to know at a bit more of an advanced level, so that you can DIY all the newfangled stuff and market your practice really successfully online. If number 2 would be of interest to you, And I'm not saying, gosh, I'm not holding anyone to any of this, and you're not going to get a sales call. Definitely not. I just need to know what the take is at the moment, appetite wise. Would number 2 be of interest? Yes, no, and maybe a bit of a reason. The other thought I had that I was actually going to work on next is a Facebook success, you know, posting and advertising course with some recorded videos and a step-by-step guide on how to promote your services ethically using Facebook. And I can do that for $297. So is number 3 of use or of interest to you? Yes, no. If no, why not? If yes, why? Is that enough? Do you just want to know about Facebook? Do you want to know anything else in that as well? Or 4 is none of the above, or 5 is other brilliant life-changing ideas. I won't go into that chat now. I'll have a look through that later. But thank you so much for letting me ask you those questions. As you know, I'm doing as many free webinars and things that I can possibly to help people, but you giving me that direct feedback helps me give you what you need at the right price. So any other supporting thoughts are extremely appreciated at this point in time. So thank you for indulging me. And now it's all about you. So I'm going to pop my video back on, and you ask me anything about marketing and communications that you possibly like, and I will do my very best to answer them. And let me just get these slides and my video back on. All right, here I am, still here, still awake. I hope you are too. All right, so any questions, fire away, and I will jump over into our chat box and see what we've got question-wise. And again, if you do need to go in a few minutes' time, we are right on time, which is excellent, and I will send you, like I said, the recording and the link for that digital marketing session next Thursday. It'll, you know, like I said, it'll give you lots of insights and, you know, what not to do. Particularly the focus will be around the APRA guidelines, just to help you, you know, as we move into some new territory, make sure that you're still maintaining compliance. So, all right, do we have any questions? Let's see. Oh, thank you so much. I just saw a lot of the feedback there for the first time. I'm really grateful for that, guys. Thank you. We all sit in our bubble, don't we, going, well, I think they might want this, or I wonder if they want that. I thought, hey, you're all here tonight. Thank you so much for helping me. All right, great. Any other questions? Beautiful, thank you. Oh, thanks, Wendy, really appreciate that. Yes, I'm very happy, Michelle, that you've got insights and use out of tonight. And look, just some peer support as well was what I was really hoping that you got out of tonight, to see, you know, here's another 100 people who are exactly in the same situation as yourselves, all going through it through absolutely none of anyone's fault. Not that you were thinking that, but I think it's important to remind ourselves. And yes, this shall pass, and we've just got to hang in there, don't we, and be as motivated and do what we can. You know, we're not always going to feel like leaping out of bed every day. Some days harder than others, aren't they, right now? So yes, I can follow you all up with some of those ideas once I develop them and the next programs. And you know, eventually I'd love to release all of these online marketing type programs, you know, so the more feedback the better. I can keep making them exactly what you need, and a few of the peak bodies have expressed interest in promoting them as well, which is a great help. So if you've got a peak body that you're a member of and you think that some of what I'm doing would align, that's an enormous help, because then it saves me in advertising dollars and I can keep the price down if I've got those arrangements in place. And by now you all know that I'm not trying to sell the gold out of anyone's teeth. I'm not one of those marketers, which sounds awful, doesn't it? But there's plenty of them out there, as we know. And, you know, it's good for the peak bodies to know that I am here for the long haul, and, you know, had my practice working in health for 13 years and intend to do it for another 20. So we'll get there, won't we? Now, tell me any questions. All right. Busy, head towards retirement. Oh, good, good. Thank you. Thank you. Lots of lovely thank yous. One-on-one sessions, I certainly do. My usual most popular service is a 2-hour session, which is called a marketing clarity session. Quite a few people who are here tonight have done that session with me. It involves a lot of pre-work research on your business and your local area. Then we spend 2 hours together one-on-one, and then I write you up unique actions for the next 6 to 12 months to follow. There's never been any two the same. They're always different. People always get a lot out of them. And so I can do 1-hour sessions, but I find the 2 hours really gets our teeth into it and comes up with all the clever, quirky stuff that's exactly going to align with you and your resources and your style and your brand. So if you want any information on that, especially once we start returning to normal, we can put our heads together and come up with a great plan, you know, working one-on-one together. I love doing those sessions. If anyone's interested, be absolutely delighted to do more marketing clarity sessions. I appreciate now is not good timing, or maybe it is, and if it is, then let's do it. We do them out of hours on Saturdays if that helps you as well. So, all right, and I'll just see if there's not any more questions. I might start wrapping up soon. Oh, okay. Who's asked that? Bernadette's asked if putting off referral sources. No. Don't put it off. Ring them and let them know that you've got that secure platform coming, and just do it as a hi. How are you going? How are you finding everything? Are you going okay? And then, yes, by the way, we're doing this in response, and this is how we're going to be helping our people. Great conversation. It gives you, if you've got something that's coming, then when it's here, you can ring them again and say, you know, a couple of weeks ago I rang. Again, I just wanted to see how you're going. We've now got that secure messaging in place, and I've done a little video to explain how it works. Can I share that with you on email? You know, we often need an excuse to get back in touch with people that's of value to them. You know, we never want to be ringing up going, hi, how's it going? You know, not that any of you would, but got to have a reason to call. So kind of spacing some of those reasons out is quite strategic. That would work well. Oh, thanks, Margot. I'm so glad you got some inspiration. We needed a little pump up, didn't we? Oh, fake it till you make it, hey? All right. And I'm just seeing if we've got any other questions. All right, recommend to APS. Oh, Margot, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Great. Thanks, Janice. Oh, pleasure, pleasure. Everyone looks like they're wrapping up. Lots of lovely thank yous and kind comments. Thank you so much, everyone. Think about the unregistered health practitioners. Yes, absolutely. Great. Oh, Melissa, that's great. Most people have transitioned to telehealth fairly easily. Good for you. That's wonderful, especially clients who know you already. And yes, I will, Margot. Great. Fantastic. The 2-hour session, Elizabeth, I'll send you some info if that's all right. And Bronwyn as well has had lots of pleasant responses to telehealth. That's fantastic, Bronwyn. I'm so glad. Speak with them on the phone about it. Time will tell if they make repeat bookings. I bet they will. You're great. I've only had one client say, see you at the end of this. Everyone else has transitioned to telehealth. Great. Excellent. I mean, that's the thing. Keep telling them the benefits of it, and it works to their advantage, doesn't it? Oh, wonderful, is it? Yes, a lot of people prefer the one-on-one as opposed to a course, which is why I offer both. Yes, definitely, Margot. Yep, let's have a catch up about that. I'll tell you everything that we cover. Wonderful. All right, everyone's wrapping up. Thank you. And yes, repeating that course, Bernadette. That's what I thought. I thought, you know, let's still run the psychology one tomorrow as is, and I'll be recording it and then adding a lot to it and bringing in some extra speakers. And then my thinking was even to do one for OTs and maybe one for speech therapists and any other disciplines or peak bodies who are interested in working with me on it. That's really how it kind of will work best if I get those groups partnering. Or we can do a general allied health one, but Yes, fantastic. All right, I'm going to wrap up there. Thank you so much, everyone. I really, really appreciate you giving me that feedback back, and keep up the amazing, great work that you're doing. We need all of you in our community, helping all of our, lovely people out there who, appreciate what you're doing. This too shall pass. And I'll be in touch tomorrow on email with the recording and also the link so you can sign up for the next session on the 9th of April at 7 p.m. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks so much again for coming in live and joining me. Lovely to see you all and have your company. And I will look forward to speaking with you all soon. Thank you so much. Okay, bye, everyone.